If you're over 40 and you've noticed something quietly disappearing in the morning, don't ignore it because your body doesn't stop sending signals without a reason. And for most men, this is one of the very first signs that something deeper is changing inside the body, long before any pain, long before any diagnosis, and long before most people ever connect the dots. The strange part is, it doesn't feel dangerous at first. It just feels like, maybe I'm getting older. But in reality, your body may be trying to warn you about something happening silently inside your circulation system. And if you understand what this signal really means, you might start seeing your health completely differently from this moment forward. Because this is not just about aging, this is about blood flow. Let me explain it in a way that actually makes sense. Your body has a built-in overnight system that most men never think about. While you sleep, your brain is constantly testing different systems in your body: heart rate, oxygen levels, nerve response, blood circulation. And one of the key things it tests during this cycle is something most men assume is random. But it isn't random at all. It's part of a maintenance system that keeps tissues healthy by ensuring oxygen-rich blood keeps reaching certain sensitive areas of the body. When everything is working properly, this system runs automatically every night. But when something starts to go wrong inside your circulation, this is often the first signal that starts to weaken. Not pain, not pressure, not obvious symptoms, just a quiet change that many men only notice in the morning. Now, most people immediately assume the same thing: testosterone. And yes, testosterone does slowly decline with age, but here's what most men never hear clearly. In the majority of cases, testosterone is not the first system to fail. Think of testosterone like the ignition key in a car. It's important, but if the fuel line is blocked, the engine still won't run. And in your body, that fuel line is your blood vessels. Inside your arteries, there is a thin inner lining. You can think of it like a smooth protective coating. When you're younger, that lining is flexible, smooth, and responsive. Blood flows easily. Pressure adjusts naturally. Everything responds on demand. But over time, small, invisible changes begin to build up. High stress levels, poor sleep, processed foods, blood sugar fluctuations, none of these cause instant damage. They work slowly, silently, like friction over time. And that friction affects the ability of your blood vessels to relax and open properly. Now here's where things become important. The smallest blood vessels in your body are the most sensitive to these changes. And one of the most sensitive areas in the entire system is the network responsible for morning function. That's why early changes often show up there first, long before anything serious is felt in the chest or anywhere else. But there's something even more important happening at night that most men don't realize. During deep sleep, your body enters a repair state. It's not just resting, it's actively repairing blood vessels, balancing hormones, and restoring circulation systems. But that only happens when sleep is deep and uninterrupted. If your sleep is fragmented or your stress hormones stay high all night, your body never fully enters that repair mode. Instead, it stays partially in survival mode. And survival mode changes everything, because in survival mode, your body prioritizes only what it thinks is essential for immediate survival. Blood flow gets redirected, repair slows down, restoration becomes limited, and systems that are not critical for immediate survival start receiving less attention. Night after night, this creates a slow shift in how your circulation system behaves. Now add another layer to this: blood sugar. When blood sugar stays elevated over long periods of time, even slightly, it begins to affect the flexibility of your blood vessels. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually. It reduces how easily blood vessels can expand when needed. And when you combine this with poor sleep and chronic stress, you create a situation where circulation becomes less responsive overall. Now imagine this happening quietly over years. No obvious warning, no pain, just gradual changes in how your body responds in certain situations. And in many men, the first noticeable sign appears in the morning. But here's where this becomes even more important, because this is not just about one symptom. It's about the health of your entire vascular system, the same system that supports your heart, your brain, and every organ that depends on oxygen-rich blood flow. That's why doctors pay attention to these early changes, because they can sometimes appear before more serious cardiovascular symptoms develop. Now I want to pause here for a moment, because this is where most videos become misleading. There is no single magic fix, and there is no instant solution that resets everything overnight. But the encouraging part is this: the vascular system is highly responsive, especially in the early and middle stages of decline, which means small changes can make a meaningful difference over time. One of the most important factors is movement, especially resistance-based exercise, because when large muscle groups activate, they improve circulation demand across the entire system. Your body responds by improving blood flow efficiency. Another major factor is sleep quality, not just hours in bed, but depth of sleep cycles, because deep sleep is where the majority of vascular repair happens. If that stage is consistently interrupted, your body never fully completes its restoration process. And the third major factor is metabolic stability, especially blood sugar control, because stable energy levels reduce long-term stress on your blood vessels and improve their responsiveness. Now notice something important here. None of these are extreme changes. They are basic biological functions your body already knows how to do. The issue is not capability. The issue is consistency over time. Because this doesn't happen in a single night, it develops slowly and silently, which is why most men don't notice until the pattern is already established. But once you understand what your body is trying to signal, you start seeing these changes differently. Not as embarrassment, not as random aging, but as information. And information gives you control. Because the earlier you respond to these signals, the more influence you have over how your body continues to change over time. So the real question becomes very simple. Are you going to dismiss these early changes as just part of getting older and ignore what your body might be trying to communicate? Or are you going to recognize them as one of the earliest warning systems your body has and take the steps needed to protect your long-term health? Because the truth is, your body rarely stays silent without reason. It speaks first in small signals. And if you learn to understand them early, you give yourself a chance to change what happens next, before it becomes something harder to reverse.